Hi, this is Cool Hand Mike. In this video, we're going to be spending some time looking for addresses that are commonly used in making TASes. Okay, so I've chosen Super Mario World. Super Mario World is a very useful game for this purpose of demonstration because it has a lot of commonly useful addresses that are in a lot of different games, like position, speed, it has a camera, it has subpixels, among other things. So to begin with, let's try and find the X position of Mario. You want to have him on one of the extreme ends of the map, at the start here, basically. So the camera, the view of this world here, is not moving along with Mario. Here the camera is fixed, so when I move right with Mario, only his position moves and not the camera. I'm going to be choosing previous value and greater than, and we are going to search. For now, I'm going to be doing 1 byte. His position is most likely 2 bytes because the map is fairly long, but we're just going to do 1 byte for now. And I'm going to advance and move him forward a little. Search. 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 And that's the small list. Okay, so let's start by poking in values into these addresses and start cutting them down in halves, doing basically a binary search. And I'm going to choose a pretty large value compared to what it is, so the difference will be obvious when we advance. Okay, that worked pretty good. So it is in there, so let's get rid of the other addresses since it's not in there. Now I'm going to poke again. I'm going to poke back. Different address, and then advance. Nope. So let's do the first one. Do 50. Nope. So it should be this other address is his X position. Poke. Yep. Okay. So this address here on the bottom is his X position. If you wanted to add it to the RAM watch, you can double click it. Be aware that if you have it here already, it will duplicate it. So if you can right click here and remove. I am going to right click here on the notes over here, and I'm going to click edit. And I'm going to say Mario X position. Now, as I mentioned before, for now we are using 1 byte, but his position is most likely 2 bytes because the map is so large. So if I edit it, I'm going to just see what happens if I change this to 2 bytes and see if that makes sense for him in this level. Now, if I poke a large value in here, if he moves to a position that is obviously a couple screens ahead, it's most likely a good change. Yeah. As you can see, there was some odd effects there, but his position is 2 bytes. It makes sense. So I can also poke in a larger value. Let's do 700. Okay. Doesn't draw properly, but It is 2 bytes. So now if we want to find his y value, let's go back to the start. Of the map here. All right. So we need him to jump, and we don't want him running forward because we only want to have Mario's jump here. Believe this is his jump. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna make a new branch, just call this jump. So when you are trying to find the y values, you need to keep in mind that when the character is moving up on the screen as you view him, his y position is decreasing. And when he is falling, his position is increasing. Because the top of this view screen here would be the least value you can get on this screen here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be choosing less than as he jumps. Because as he goes up, the value will decrease. Right? Okay, so search. Yeah, okay, so that's about as small a list as it's going to get here. And let's start poking some values. Poke 0. Now 0, it should be near the top of the screen, or at least higher than this. If that worked, yes. Okay. So his position is somewhere in here. Poke 0 again. And he went way up. Now it's most likely 2 bytes for his Y position as well. So I'm going to remove the one. Let's see. Is it here? Poke 0. No. What about here? Poke 0. Yeah. Okay. So his Y position is, let's edit this, Mario Y. And again, it's most likely 2 bytes. Now, okay. Notice how his value is 266 that it's showing here. That's probably why when you put in 0, it's much further up than you'd expect. So now that we found that, we are going to go ahead, save this watch file, and start moving on to see if we can find speed. Now to find speed, we need to be able to make Mario's speed vary. Because if it was just constant, it'd be fairly difficult to find. And it really wouldn't matter if it was constant. We wouldn't need to find it. So what we are going to do is we know that Mario can run. So we are going to make Mario walk, and then we're going to make him run. And we expect that these values will be different. So to start, we are going to, no jumping. Let's go back here to the branch where he's just walking. So now that we have him stationary, his speed is going to be 0. It's going to be a specific value of 0, equal to 0. So we're going to search that. And now we want it, we expect it to be greater. So previous value and greater than once he starts moving. So he's moving. It's going to be greater than that. Now we want him to start running, which I believe is where you hold Y. Okay, he starts moving much faster. And we have a couple values here. Now to find this, we are going to actually do something different rather than just poking. We're going to freeze the value. This will make Mario move, depending on what value we put in, very fast or very slow. So I'm going to put in something high. I'm going to poke 200 and then I'm going to freeze it using this freeze flower over here. And if it's in here, if it's either of these two, he will start moving quite quickly. Ah, okay. So it didn't quite have the effect that I was expecting. However, it's most likely in here or something related to it. It may very well be signed. His speed might be signed. So what that means is that when he moves, when he's moving left, his speed will be negative. And when he's moving right, his speed will be positive. Now to test that, I am going to change these to, well, first let me save them by moving them to the RAM watch, just in case I lose them by changing this. So I'm going to change it to signed. Okay. Now when I put in 200, that is over the limit for when you have assigned. So it became negative. So if I want to have a positive, high positive value, I'm going to choose 127. Now when he starts running forward, I'm going to go back here. He should be moving fast to the right. Yes. Quite fast to the right indeed. Definitely not the normal speed for Mario. Okay. So it's in there. I'm going to unfreeze the first one. First, let me remove these because it's not in there. Not in there. And unfreeze this address by clicking it again. Oh, I double clicked it. Okay. So now that it's not that pale blue, start again at the beginning and make Mario move. Does he move spastically? Yes, he does. So that means this 7B address here is indeed his speed. So I'm going to edit this. Right click, Mario X speed. I'm going to remove these other ones that I had saved just in case in here. Now I'm going to unfreeze this. And that is the X speed. So now we're going to try and find the Y speed. So now that we found Mario's X speed, we're going to try and find his Y speed. Now there's a couple things to keep in mind when trying to find a Y velocity, aka speed. While a character is jumping, their position is decreasing because the top of the screen would, if you could think of it as 0, the top most of the screen of the level is 0. Then as it goes down, as you view down and just kind of scroll down, the value is increasing. So when Mario jumps, he initially goes up, and then as he falls, his position will be increasing. Goes so negative, then positive. And that change is going to be the same for the speed. So when he jumps, his speed will be negative, and then as he falls, his speed will be positive. So at the start, I'm going to assume that his Y speed is 0 because he's not moving. And I'm going to have him jump. Okay. Should be negative, so I'm going to do previous value and less than. I'm going to search. Now I'm going to wait until he starts falling. Okay, now I know that his velocity is positive, so it should be greater than. I'm going to search, but it looks, yeah, there's something wrong. Yeah. None of those values really make much sense. Because while he's jumping, there's this large jump and it looks like they're not varying at all, really, except for that one that's jittering all over the place. And then it's mostly 0. Yeah, I don't think these are his values whatsoever. But just a test. While he's going up, I'm going to freeze these values. And that did some weird thing there. But that's definitely, it looks like his cape is the top of his head now. But anyway, so these aren't his Y velocity. Definitely not. So I'm going to go back here. And we're going to try this again. This time, I'm not going to assume that his velocity is 0, because I believe I may be missing some addresses. We're going to go back to less than and start having him jump. Okay. Search. Previous value less than. Wait until he starts falling. Okay. Now greater than. Okay, we have more addresses. It looks like we have some more varied values here as well. All right. Let's watch these values as he jumps. See if any of these make sense. So he's jumping, so it should be negative. Let's order these by clicking the column name value. So these are positive values. That's not correct. These are not it. So I'm going to remove them. Let's continue. Now that he's falling, it should be positive. So these ones that are 0 aren't correct either. So I'm going to remove those. And now we're down to 3 addresses that make sense. Oh. What's going on there? All right. These don't make sense. They're negative, but he's just standing there. But, you know, so let's just make sure, you know. But to start with, I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna test this one because this one looks to be the one that makes the most sense here. See how it's slowly decreasing in magnitude? There it goes. Okay, reverse sine. It's increasing. Yeah, I believe that's the value we're looking for. 7D. But now we're gonna poke, just to make totally sure. Or freeze. I'll freeze this one. And up. And up. And he's out of there. Okay. That is the value. Mario Y speed. Okay, and save the RAM watch.